Okay, alright, it's time to nut up or shut up here. And what I'm going to do is, you see I got the train master coming over here. I'm going to clean out all of the stuff over here in Sharon. Because, and I'm going to, run the locomotive just to have a little bit of fun. Need to get back in there. Right over there is going to be all the transformer factory. Back through here, and then you'll notice I have Shorty Parker's Erie Builders building off the layout now. I'd like to add some lights to it. Again, that's one of the signature buildings from Shorty. I'd like to do it justice, so I might add a little bit of lights to it. Get it on the base so I can bring that back over. But for the moment, I need to get everything off over here. Oh, you can see the Walthers, Pennsylvania Tower that I built. I may need to take the freight station off just so I'm not bumping into it. So just to start this off, this is the very first segment here, and I wonder if this big honking train master will make it through this number 6 crossover. I don't know. So I need to figure out, need to get some material out. See, what am I going to do? How am I going to make this this factory from scratch? So more to come on that. But all I'm doing now is just going to run the locomotive, break it in a little bit, get everything pulled out of here, the fun way, not on the 050, and then be back in a little bit when everything is cleared off and I actually start doing some work over here. So, alright, more to come. Okay, here we go. Everything's been gathered up and a gigantic train's now leaving. Yeah, so now the train master's got something to pull. I had to put the Schnoller car head out just for fun. Had a good time. I mean, I ran that big guy around. Now, he normally would not be used back here in the factory, but he ran well, and I wanted to exercise the layout. Got everything working. I know it's not real scenic here yet, but you can see everything's cleared out. So now it's time to get him over to Eugene Yard. Get him parked probably on the south runner. Get to work over here. So, alright, Mr. Trainmaster. See you later. Alright. Time to get back to work. One of the things I did as I was looking at the track plan here. So here in the front, you can see there's some civil engineering work going on. What I'm doing there is I'm adding another turnout here off the main line into this south spur. This is going to be a number 10 turnout because I had it. It's a Fast Tracks. I had built it. I installed it on the old layout, changed things for the umpteenth time. I have it available, so I'm going to use it, number 10. Because it's going to be used as part of the factory where they bring the large transformer shipments. Road freights can drop off and pick off easier this way since it has access from both ends. So you can see I got that going in. Now I'm going to come in and paint it. The paint's sitting right there. And this is my new favorite paint. This is by, what was it? Apple Barrel. It's called Pavement. It's a good grimy black type color. It really is. It's almost exactly grimy black. Anyway, so I'm going to paint all this. Get that turnout in. You probably can't see, but I do have the tortoise mounted already. The throw rod's coming up through the road bed. And then this is going to slope down. That's why that's so god-awful white. But I'm going to, paint that up and then tie it in right here. Now, this track, the concern I had before, it came around, and you can see, probably, well, maybe not. Probably can see where it goes. Or it used to go right here. And I was going to put something here. I didn't know what. It was one of those, yeah, I'll deal with it later. Well, later has come. So what I decided to do, because it's got to be low, right? Because you're going to be reaching over the back, doing some uncoupling back there in the factory, the Sharon crew. So it can't be a real big building, because it just would be annoying. It just wouldn't be prudent. So what I'm going to do, and again, it's another, just the way I am. Right here is going to be a coal trestle. You're like, what? Yeah, I built this American model builder, I think laser art kits, years ago for the old layout. Love it. I don't know, I just like that the kit. I customized it for the reading. I did some, additional details and some extra scratch building on it. So it's going to go right there. You can see it's going to be depressed a little bit, so it's probably low enough. I will probably put a piece of plexiglass in front, because if you're reaching over it, it's not that high. So I'm doing it. That's just the way it is. I'm just going to do it. So that's going to go there. I'm still working on how to get it ramped up properly. I have some things in progress. I'm struggling a little bit with it, in all honesty. I'll just pop this in there. I think this will work. I'm going to put something like that, because that matches the track almost perfectly. And then I kludged up this, which is a glorious ramp. And then some wedges, something like this. That's what I'm working on to get it up there. My concern being, this type of thing. Because whatever I put in there for track, I don't want it to be, wanting to always pull itself up, and I want it to be nice and gradual. So anyway, so I got to work on that. But that's work in progress. That's later. I'll deal with that at another time. Well, probably as soon as I get this painted. But and then, what else we're going to do, just to show my madness. So that's this side of the factory, or the area here. That's going to be all the factory. And then the new tracks here in front. And then as I pan, what is that? Yep. I'm not totally set yet, but I think I'm going to put a viaduct in. This is the Westinghouse viaduct. It comes in from the south side. And it's probably hard to tell. I don't have anything to point with. But right here, this road kind of neatly ties in with the road that's on the backdrop. So this is how they come in from the south side. It's an alternate exit, or entrance, plan entrance. So this is going to be stone, road, sidewalk. I'm going to use the Rick's old railings along the side, street lights. I think it's going to look pretty cool. I really do. I just like the way that, I think in my mind, I can see it, and I think it's going to look okay. So the theory being, it's not perfect. Well, how do they get down here to the factory? Well, the way I'm going to do it, this is all going to be factory building along the back, the high bay. So in reality, I'm changing. This track was going to go into a building. It's not anymore. That track actually runs in between the high bay and these buildings, and this is a road as well that goes out to the other side of the plant. And at the other side of the plant, it's served by the Erie Railroad, which is the way the Westinghouse plant was. It was served by the Pennsy at one end of the plant. Now, I guess I'll call it the north end of the plant, was where the Pennsy came in. At the south end, the Erie came in. Now, I have no photographic evidence showing the Erie serving the plant, but I have track charts, and the Erie did come in. Anyway, stop babbling. So that's going to be, in my mind, how you get access into here. They drive up in between the high bay, which, if in theory, continues on. This plant goes way into the backdrop. Much bigger. This is the one end of it. So that logically lets me bring trucks in here. This is going to be interior, some truck docks. This will all be kind of paved, where trucks can come in, and and that kind of stuff. So that's how that's going to work. I think it'll be work okay. Right up to the viaduct, it'll come up. I may even add on the end of the factory either a door or a fire escape that comes down to the sidewalk. I think it'll look kind of cool. And then on the other side, okay, that's not going to be there. That's going to be in the tank farm. But that'll be Shorty's building, Erie Builders, the Sharon Works. Might add a gantry crane. I'm still thinking about how to finalize this. But, man, one thing, there's so much going on, I can't keep up with myself. That's what I'm thinking of doing over there. Okay, so, and this will be scratch built. I got to figure out how to build it, what kind of stone I want to use, exactly how I want to lay out. But I think that'll look kind of neat. Kind of give a really cool visual interest to the factory area. Alright, so I'm going to shut up. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to paint this stuff here in the front. Might do all of it. I do need to get the... again, cap keeps banging. Need to get the coal trestle in here and get the track all lined up. I'm not going to put it in. I want to get the front part in, the ramps and everything done. Painted and then kind of stop, because I'm not going to be reaching over this thing when I got all this stuff to do back there. Alrighty, it's a quick in prog here. So there I got the number 10 turnout ready to go. It said the tortie is in. Waiting to set it in, and I got the track coming up to it from the spur ready to go. So that's the next thing that's going to happen. And then, like I said, here's the cold trestle that I want to put in. It's not going to stay there. It's going to be there eventually. And I did, like I said, I weathered it up a little bit. Give it some washes, give it some details on the top just for fun. I don't know what goes on top of these things. I've never actually seen one. Anyway, all right, so that's going to be there. It's set in now, and you may notice I have some code 70. That's code 70 rail to 8th, so I had to have some. Luckily, I had some micro engineering transition joiners, which I don't really know it'd be a huge deal if I didn't. But all right, so here's my slopey slopes all cut, and I do have I have a retaining wall in there, kind of cut, and I have this formed to somewhat fit how that's going to go. Like I said, I do want to get all that in. This will stay safely somewhere hidden away. And then I got this cut out for the sloped to support the end of the trestle. And then this is all being cut, and I had to fiddle with this. I think I kind of goofed before just because I had the angle too steep. At least it looked really bad to me, but that's what I'm going to do. So I got that piece here flat, a little start, and I can still do some sanding in there to make a nicer, smoother transition. A vertical easement, as you were. If I'm a real model railroader, that's what I have to worry about. And come down and around, and I'll use those nice long wood wedges to join it into the siding track there. So again, I want to get all this down, painted and ready, have the track cut. Probably not installed yet, because I don't want to do that till I get, because I think I need to install it along with the trestle to keep it down, and I just think I need to. So alright, so that's what that is. And another issue I'm worried about, you can see the that polka right there is actually my new cantilever signal. I did have two Pennsy position light mast signals to go here, but because of this darn trackage, the actual gap for the interlocking is right about in here. Well, that was stupid, because there's no way to get a signal in there. None whatsoever. Not with the industrial trackage and the other trackage. It's like, why did I do that? Anyway, so I think, okay, so I need to move that back somewhere, and I'm thinking of doing it right there, because another thing you got to worry about, if you do have a signal sticking up over there, you know, people are going to be in here reaching, and they're going to be, you know, coming in to uncouple here and uncouple here, and then I can just see it coming. I can just see it, because it's amazing how people get distracted, and they're like, hey, did you see the new Ather and stuff? Oh boy, hey, Rob, there goes your cantilever. So, but it's got to go somewhere, right? I mean, whether it's a mast or a cantilever or two masts, and I can't put two masts because of the, anyway, we'll see. And just another freaking pain in the rear end when you're a model railroader, things that you just don't realize or overlook, and I probably should have thought this out a little bit better. But, and I also, another thing I learned, this is just me, and it could be because I'm a moron, I don't like cutting gaps on curves. Yeah, it's flex track, it's pico track, it's pretty good stuff, but still, you cut that, and that track is trying to curve, it's a problem. I actually had an issue over there with it when I did it. It's on a slight curve, and the track, you know, over time kind of, it didn't really come out. I mean, I fixed it with a nail. That's why it's covered up right there. So I'd rather keep gaps on the straight. It's just me. Maybe I'm just a moron. I don't know how to cut gaps, but so I may actually use an insulated joiner right here. But the gap there, that's why I have the cantilever saying, okay, that'll be the end of the interlocking, or the signals right there. That way they're on the straight. Because there's not a whole lot of other good plots. You know, I can't really put another mast if I was going to. In here, I could bring this cantilever back. But then you're kind of in a way where you're going to be reaching. It's also on a curve, so crap. Anyway, all right, more to come as I noodle away here. So now I want to get that The turnout's ready to go in, the track's ready to go in on the south spur. And I'll get this all lined up and get this stuff glued in, painted, and then wait until later to get the actual cold trestle in. Because I'm not going to do that till I get all the crap there in the back done. Unfortunately, that's got to be done first. Because I know the first thing I would do is break it. So, alright, let's forge ahead here, shall we? Okay, more babbling. Alright, so here's what... Again, this channel is just about me chatting as I struggle my way through stuff. Alright, so, like I said, I was going to do something here. You know, is a cantilever going to go here? Do I have to move the gap? So I thought, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll put a gap right there where the new turnout fits. I have some micro engineering, Code 83, insulated ones. I'll put it right there. I thought, well, wait a minute. If you do that, then you've got this little tiny section of track from the frog over. This requires another... Okay, what I was going to do, screw it. I'll just bring it up and I'll put the gap right there at the frog. That's where it is. I could even leave the signal there or put it somewhere in there. And then where I want, cut another gap over here, put the cantilever in, I'm good to go. Then, get this. I'm thinking, wait a minute. Wouldn't it be kind of cool? What if, bear with me here, what if I put the signals on the viaduct? Man, I think that would look pretty cool. I know it's been done. I know I've seen it on the Pensy. It's not Cassandra. Where is it? The next bridge over? The next bridge to the west, I think? Had the PL, the position light signals, like right on the bridge. Wouldn't that look kind of cool? And it's actually not a bad location for them. The rule would have to be, I think in theory you can pull right up to the signal. Well, you wouldn't want to do that, because if you did, and some guy was coming out of the yard for the factory, you'd be fouling them. On this other track, you actually could, unless you were, because, anyway, so here's what I'll probably do. Okay, so if I do that, put the two signals here, I think that'll look pretty sweet. And just have a rule and have a little marker that if you have a, a stop, or you have to stop for any reason at that signal, you have to stop back here. That way it's cleared out of here. If you're stopped here, it's still cleared coming across out of staging. So anyway, I think that might look pretty cool. I can see it. I can see it in my mind. I'm like, yeah, that's... Oh, I amaze myself sometimes. But because that way the signals are out of the way, there's no risk of knocking over a cantilever or even a mass signal for that reason while you're in the yard or in the factory switching. So, what do you think? Wouldn't that look pretty cool? Now, of course, I sent my mass signals down to Tim at Integrated Signal Systems. I got to tell him real quick, wait a minute. I still need one cantilever for the other side. I still need one for over here. So I'll keep that one with only one signal on it. Long story, but that's the way it is. What if I could talk to him and say, here's what I want to do. Can you build me some kind of bracket where I could mount it, to the stonework here on the viaduct? Man, that would look pretty cool. Because the viaduct, it's going to be stone. I'm going to have lights across it. People walking a rail fan there with a camera. Oh, man. I kind of like that. All right, we'll see. Let me know what you think. Alrighty, got the track in. Everything's wired up. I'm just testing it here. I wasn't going to show this, but made a mistake. And, I like to show my mistakes just to help other modelers who are, or maybe you guys are a lot smarter than me. So what I did here, I got the turnouts in, and because of the frog, that adds a gap that wasn't there before, so I had to run another feeder over to the other side. Okay, not a big deal. I have a feeder in here, and I'm going to leave this gap. Like I said, I talked about putting other gaps in. I'm going to leave it gapped right there. I did add a rail joint or a joiner bar there just for the fun of it, because I'm thinking of putting the signals, like I said, up on the viaduct. And then, so this track's all in, and then I just want to turn the power on, make sure nothing beeps, goes crazy. It didn't. And then when I run a locomotive across both ways, make sure I don't have reverse polarity, because that's when you'll find it when you run across it. But the issue I had, or here's where I don't want to call it a mistake, but when I brought this track up, it's not powered off of these are blocks. that I have detection on. This doesn't. So everything that's non-detected is just run off the main DCC bus. Well, what I overlooked, right here I should have put a gap rail joiner. Remember I talked about putting one over here that I didn't do? Because I can leave the gap where it is. I should have put one here because otherwise this is connected to this. So this would look like it's occupied when it's not. You know what I mean? You only want this to be occupied when you come into it. So what I did, just to address it real quickly, I cut a gap right here. Probably should be closer, but right here I have two PCB board ties. The rails are soldered together. To me, it's a good place to do it. It probably shouldn't be that far up, because that means if you're the dispatcher or whatever, this block won't show occupied till I come across here. Let's say I'm coming out of the spur. Well, you probably ought to show occupied further back, but whatever. Okay. So anyway, so just don't forget, think about where you got to put your gaps, especially, you know, the way I'm doing it with CMRI and having these two blocks detected and this non-detected. Otherwise, you could have a car sitting on the spur and the computer thinks this block's occupied. Like, what? Anyway, so then you just test things, and I brought my good friend, I love running this guy now, the Train Master. I run him over all the new gaps, make sure nothing arcs and sparks and beeps and goes crazy. So he runs down into the spur, so everything's okay. I tested them, you know, both ways, and so now the spur is double-ended, so I can run right through it and open up my operating possibilities over here in Sharon. So we're good to go. Everything's nice and no short circuits. Just be careful on your gaps. Now what I'm probably going to do, let me pan ahead a little bit here while he runs. On this one, I might go in there and put a piece of styrene, cut it, you know, and then cut it, super glue it in, just so the gap doesn't move. I also noticed that since they're both PCB board ties, they actually sit a little bit higher. So they're kind of floating right now. So I'm going to put a little shim under there, just in case. I don't think it would happen that, you know, everything gets out of cattywampus and they get a little bumpy going across there. I don't think that would be a major issue, but just in case, I'll do that. And then I don't have the tortoise wired up, but being very careful, I can throw that by hand, reaching under. Oh, actually, it's going in reverse. Now the frog isn't powered yet. I don't have a frog juicer. I have one on order. But again, with this big 6-axle and the keep alive, it's probably not even going to be an issue. And it wasn't. So I just want to make sure it runs okay. And he does. Then I want to make sure he runs across the other gap, which is there. If I mess up the polarity, that's where it would beep. Yeah, he runs good. Alright. Alright. That was a 5-minute excursion no one needed to see. Alright, let's get back to work. Okay, a bit more quick in progress here as we work along, because I'm going to wrap this up. And okay, anyway, I'll talk about that in a moment. I'm all fluffed there today. So I have this pretty much ready to go. Like I said, I have the cold trestle detailed, weathered. Got it pretty much the way I want it, at least for now. I still want to come back in and maybe add some shovels and, you know, that kind of fun stuff. But for the most part, it looks pretty good. I think it's pretty much ready to go safely away for the moment. Because if I put it in now, I guarantee you I'd break it. So that's ready to go. I do have the embankment all blazing in white right now. That is the sculpt mode on the outside of the pink foam. You can see I have the track in there. It looks pretty good. I think it'll be fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in and paint that so it doesn't look so crazy. I may try to get that track in. I think I can do that because I get that track in, and I also put the sculptor mold out here and filled in the gap. That was to the edge of the layout, so that's all done. Then get that tied in and get. I think I need to put one more feeder on this side. Well, maybe not. I gotta see where the feeder is up here. Again, it's just a spur. It's not like you're gonna have all kinds of traffic coming up there. Then I can get maybe that track, and certainly get this track, the south spur, or the industrial lead, get that ballasted. So that's all done. I get this painted. I do have the new sign made up, or control plate for the electrically locked hand operated switch. The last one I'm going to put in. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. This may be the last one I put in. I don't know. But I have that done. I had to order a new double pole, double throw switch that I just got in because I didn't have any more. So I'm going to get that done. That's all set control-wise, another layout to get that done and installed. And then, alright, so then I'm going to stop. That's kind of where I am because next we start into the factory. I have that planned out. I've worked out what I'm going to do. So stay tuned. I'm going to start that. That's going to be a multi-segment blab fest on that, because that's going to be pretty darn involved. But I have a good plan. I know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have one video series on the factory. Probably have another series coming up. Let me pan over here. On the viaduct, and that's been moved because I was playing with the track. I think that's something like that. Well, I don't know, whatever. But I think I have an idea how I'm going to do that, and then also maybe normal layout updates, because I guess it kind of is normal. You know, I need to get this area done as well. So my goal is by summer, early summer, I want this whole area done. And that's going to be a challenge. That's going to be a push. Excuse me, but I'm going to give it a shot. Okay, so I got a video coming on the viaduct, a video coming on the factory. I'll start those up. I'm going to shut up. Just whatever this is. This is kind of a babble fest here of biblical proportions, but I'll just get this up, and this kind of gets me caught up to where I am. Currently, do a lot of work. Well, you know what? Okay, let me take that back. I'm going to do one more quick segment. Sorry, folks. Just showing some other things that I have been doing in preparation for both the factory, the other side, and a little bit of work. The viaduct? No, not yet. All right, one more quick one, then I promise I'll post it. Shut up and get out of your life. All right, like I said, a couple other things have been going on as I'm waiting to get the factory started. This is a Monster Model Works, basically one of those flat buildings, 1 3/4 wide, a couple inches high, and what I'm going to use this for, and this will come up later. I'll show you in the plan, probably in the next video, where I'm going to use this as part of just something different, a little auxiliary building for the factory. I pretty much built it per the kit instructions. I did add some lights on the outside. They're probably too big, but again, the way it's going to sit, I'm just going to say they're really large industrial lights, so whatever. I had them, so I'm going to use them. They're not Walthers. I got them off eBay. Got a couple 3D vents. I added a ladder here at the end just for a little bit of visual variety. Alright, so that's done. I'm going to sit and wait to be installed in the factory. Another thing I did, I'm going to do a slow little pan here. This is for over on the other side, the industrial area. And this may be a little bit darker over here, but this is just a typical Walthers overhead crane. I kind of like the look of it, so I built that. I still have to weather these. I got that weathered. I added it to a little styrene base, because otherwise I don't know how you do it. Slapping 10 of these individually. The supports, man, I don't know. I added a little thing here to hang some dunnage and hooks and chains and that kind of stuff. Probably add other dunnage and maybe a little shed, a little office type thing in there. So that I'll get that wrapped up and ready to go in when I can work on that. I do have the operator cab and the top hoist. I got to wire everything up there for the hooks, and I didn't do that yet. I'm not sure I will, because I don't know how to hang that if it's all done. I might have to wait till that's actually done, and I may not even glue that on until I'm ready, because that just makes this a little harder to store. This way I can kind of put this away safely. I will get this weathered up, maybe labeled safety first or something, something like that, just to kill some time. Okay, so that's that, and okay, I'm going to show you one more thing. I keep lying to you, but one more thing. Hold on. Okay, so this is painted up. I just used that real cheap craft acrylic pavement color. Like so I'll come in and ballast the track. Maybe put the track in up the ramp. I'm not sure yet. Just wanted to show that. And then I want to show you, here's what happens when you don't think about what the heck you're doing. Alright, so this is going to have that plate that goes over for the auto hand lock switch shenanigans going on. Well, I said, okay, so I got everything wired up. I have the panel mounted under here. And then these got to go in, the switch and the key switch, and they get wired over to here. I have 12 volts coming in. So pretty much I wanted to get it working. I'm going to put the actual plate, I may make a dummy plate up because I don't want to get it messy as I'm working. But anyway, so for here, I'm going to mount this double throw throttle toggle. So I said I got to drill a bigger hole because here I'm not going just through the 1/8. I'm going through the actual 1x4. Okay, so you just drill a hole and that'll fit in there nicely. And then I drilled this hole for the key switch at 3/4 of an inch. Well, dummy me, this is fine because now this is going to mount to the 1/8 masonite. I was thinking, well, I drill a 1/8 or a 3/4 hole here, stick it in. Yeah, well, you can't get the nut on the back of that to mount it, you idiot. So I already had a 3/4 inch hole, and you can see the mess I made. I came in with the hole saw and tried to. Well, I don't recommend doing that because it really messed it up. However, luckily the plate I have will cover all that. So again, just you got to think, and I didn't think, rushing ahead. This is fine. This I should have done the exact same thing. Again, that'll cover up. So okay, so enough on that. Just think ahead what you're doing and don't be dumb like me, which is kind of the story of my life. Okay, so wrapping this up, done. Gonna stop talking. I know, shut up, Rob. You heavy breathing loser. So what I'm gonna do then is start a series on the factory, the viaduct, and then some other normal. I mean, I'll still do stuff in the layout, I hope. I got scenery I want to do. I do need to work on, again, the whole area on the other side of the viaduct. Get Shorty's building installed, figure out what I'm going to do back here. I can work on this when I'm waiting for the material to come in for the factory. But I will start off a series on those two. In Viaduct Factory. Okay, more to come. I'm going to shut up. No fancy photographs. No end, photo montage or anything. Just get it up and look forward to the start of some rather intense. Here's my. I'll say this publicly. You guys heard it here, and you can hold me to it. Today is February. What is it? 17th. I want to get this all done. This whole thing, the factory, high bay, background building, viaduct, scenery, ballast, all of this side done. I want to get it done by June 1st. So that gives me March, April, May. I don't know, but you heard it here. That's what I'm going to try to do. So we'll see how that goes. Because this is the last major area to get done. Then I still have more scenery to do and touch up here and some things I want to fix and yada yada yada, the typical for all our layouts. But if I can get this done, this layout comes up to the 90% level. So anyway, all right, more to come. Look for these other segments to start in the very near future. And again, thanks to all the subscribers, new subscribers, and thanks everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it.